live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Good evening. This is the National News Telecast. I'm Movin Hettiaranchu.
And I'm Kasuni Balachandra Adhikari. We start off with a look at your headlines for tonight.
Board of Governors for the Presidential Fund convenes for the year 2025. No change in certified price of rice. More raids to nab traders who charge higher prices. Namal Rajapaksa has been indicted with regard to the Krish deal. The President stresses to enhance the living standard of the people. The UN General Secretary expresses dissatisfaction on the US President Trump's orders to suspend foreign aid. Now to those and more stories in detail. On today's top story, approval has been granted to extend the President's Fund services to rural areas through a streamlined process to coordinate with the Divisional Secretariat officers in order to provide more benefits to patients.
The Board of Governors of the President's Fund convened today at the Presidential Secretariat under the leadership of President Anurakumar Dissanayake to outline plans and initiatives for the year 2025. The decision aims to ensure that the fund's benefits reach the grassroots level, providing greatest relief and support to underserved communities. One of the key topics discussed was the issue of surgical delays in government hospitals. To address this, the Council proposed facilitating surgeries outside regular working hours and offering incentives to medical staff involved in these after-hours procedures, with funding provided by the President's Fund. Currently, this initiative is operational at the Karapitiya Teaching Hospital, and plans are underway to expand it to the National Hospital in Colombo, the Kandy General Hospital and the Lady Ridgeway Children's Hospital. These measures are designed to provide faster and more efficient healthcare services to patients. The Council also explored the possibility of broadening educational support for students. The meeting was attended by several prominent figures, including Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya, Speaker Dr. Jagat Vikramaratne and Opposition Leader Sajith Premadasa.
Cabinet spokesman Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayasinghe said that the government has no intention to change the certified price of rice. He made these remarks at a cabinet press briefing held today. Cabinet spokesman Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayasinghe said that the government expects to harvest 700,000 metric tons of rice during this season. The shortage of Nard rice variety has already been solved. He said that any element attempting to earn excessive profits are exploiting this situation. The Consumer Affairs Authority will take stern action against such errant traders. Raids will be conducted continuously to nab such culprits, and he added that the small group millers are purchasing paddy at the moment and milling immediately to the release to the market. The government hopes to declare certified price for paddy of the convenience of farmers. He further said that the government has mediated to reconstruct paddy shortages complexes. The government has also allocated funds to purchase paddy harvest from the farmers and said that the government does not expect to paddy the entire harvest. It was also revealed that salt has to be imported due to the inclement weather in the country. Cabinet spokesman said that due to the prevailing inclement weather, the salt manufacturing areas during the past season, the production was limited to 120,000 metric tons. Salt is needed in large scale not for household use but for various industries. The spokesman added that the Ministry of the Industries has requested the government to import certain amounts of salt to continue these industries. The minister added that the private suppliers are able to import salt stocks needed for large-scale industries. The government does not import salt for the first time this year. In the year 2010 and 2009, nearly 23,000 metric tons of salt had been imported. He further said that in 2011 the amount was 10,295 metric tons. In 2016, 24,652 metric tons was imported. The cabinet spokesman said that in 2017, 14,397 metric tons and in 2018, 12,755 metric tons were imported. The minister said that the local government elections will be held in April of this year. The cabinet spokesman, Minister Dr. Nalin the Jayasinghe, said that holding of provincial council polls has been delayed due to the long process of amending the existing election laws. The parliament has to pass them without delay. He said that the last government has changed the electoral system but not prepared the required environment to hold the election. It is a dilemma whether to hold the provincial council elections under the previous system or the new system. He added that the Supreme Court decision in this regard has already been sent to the Speaker. The Speaker informed that the Parliament regarding this, the Parliament will be able to pass it, then only the Election Commission will decide the dates of the election. He further said that therefore the government believes that the local government polls should be conducted by April. The minister also answered a question raised by journalists regards to the official residence of the former presidents. The cabinet spokesman, Minister Dr. Nalin the Jayasinghe, said that there is news that former president's wife Hema Premadasa has returned the official residence. Gotabaya Rajapaksa has also returned it. He said that former President Ranil Wickremesinghe has not taken an official residence. Former Presidents Chandrika Bandaranaike, Maithripala Sirisena and Mahinda Rajapaksa do not need to separate law to hand over the official residences. He added that the Supreme Court has declared a decision regarding the Maithripala Sirisena's official residence. Former presidents should think that these official residences cannot be used until the end of their lives. He further said they have also get their residences renovated, spending a large sum of money. One residence is spacious over 3,000 square feet with a land extended over 1 acre. He also said that these residences are not windfalls for them. Maintaining these houses, public funds are spent. Minister Dr. Nalin the Jayasinghe said that the one president has spent over 472 million rupees to renovate the house from 2021 to 2023. This really is a heavy burden to the people. The cabinet spokesman said that therefore he requests them to hand over their official residences.
Now, the Consumer Affairs Authority has expanded operations in search of persons selling rice at a higher price, and steps have also been taken to file court cases against the concerned shop owners and to sell rice which were to be sold on a higher rate by them to the consumers under their supervision. Raids were conducted last night against traders who sell rice at a higher price at Narayanpeta Economic Centre. Legal action has been taken against them for selling rice at a higher price, and in the meantime several special teams have also been deployed to inspect retail shops throughout the day. Several other shops were also raided last night around Thalahena. Traders have been charged for not displaying the rice price list and selling rice at a higher price. Special raids were under operation at Ganimulla and Jail areas in Gampa district. At the Consumer Affairs Authority, legal action has been taken against traders for hoarding rice and selling rice at a high price, together with not displaying the list of prices.
The Attorney General's Department has filed an indictment in Colombo High Court today against the MP Namal Rajapaksa. This is over his alleged involvement in the controversial Krish project and misusing 70 million rupees through this deal. The case revolves around an accusation of financial misconduct and irregularities amounting to 70 million rupees obtained from the Krish company in India under the excuse of promoting rugby. Police Financial Crimes Investigation Division had previously reported the Force Magistrate Court regarding this incident. Namal Rajapaksa has been taken into custody as a suspect in the case and was later released on bail by the Force Magistrate Court.
Now, President Anurakumar Dissanayake stated that the current government is determined to make all necessary decisions for the country's advancement and to improve the quality of life of its citizens. The President expressed these views during an event held yesterday at the Customs Department Auditorium to mark the International Customs Day under the theme Customs Delivering on its commitment to efficiency, security and prosperity. The Customs Cooperation Council, established in 1952 with the participation of 17 European countries, is an independent intergovernmental body whose mission is to enhance the effectiveness and efficiency of customs administrations. This council quickly became globally recognized and Sri Lanka became a member in the year 1967. The first session of the Customs Cooperation Council was held on the 26th of January 1953 in Brussels in Belgium, marking the establishment of International Customs Day. As a result, every year on January 26th, customs administration institutions across the world celebrate International Customs Day. The President also mentioned that necessary actions are being taken to create a modern organizational structure, with structural reforms being implemented within Sri Lankan customs. President Anukumar Dissanayake said that customs successfully fulfilled its responsibilities over the past year and its efforts in stabilizing the economy are highly commendable. The achievements in meeting last year's targets are being appropriately recognized. He said that all of our actions are currently being carried out within the parameters set by the International Monetary Fund. While surface level indicators may suggest economic recovery, the overall economy remains deeply damaged. He added that therefore it is essential to approach the recovery process cautiously and with balance. Even a small mistake can cause significant disruptions to the economy. The President said that a proposal has been submitted to improve facilities for customs and establish a new salary structure. Discussions are underway with the Ministry of Finance and the Treasury to provide solutions, and he also said that this year's budget has already addressed the increase in the basic salaries of public sector employees. Efforts are being made to implement legal reforms to build strong institutional frameworks. President Dissanayake said that there are conflicts between previous political administrations and the state service mechanism. Due to these disagreements, the political leadership failed to implement the necessary reforms to strengthen institutional frameworks at the right time. He further said that it was a challenging period to establish robust institutional structures, and the failure to introduce timely institutional changes resulted in the expected outcomes not being achieved. He stressed that consequently, before we could secure many opportunities for ourselves, external parties took advantage of our resources. He also said that as a result, Sri Lanka missed several opportunities to leverage its natural strategic position as a nation.
The cleaning of the southern beach strip has been completed successfully, parallel to the Clean Sri Lanka program. According to the people, Gaul Road and beach strip extending to Valigama from Alutgama, covering more than 70 kilometers, has also been successfully completed. Southern beach of the country can be described as an attractive destination. It has been littered due to improper human activities, and the tourism industry of the area was also affected due to this. Parallel to the Clean Sri Lanka program, cleaning of the entire beach from Benthara has been cleaned recently. The residents of the area say the beach cleaning program has been operated as a collective effort, has yielded unexpected progress. Minister Nalin Hevage described the project was commenced as a proposal to improve the scenery. In the future, steps would be taken in order to keep the residences and the businesses neat and clean, irrespective of the land area. Not all activities pertaining to this can be taken care of entirely by the government. Some of the responsibility lie in the public. Not only beautification of the land, but also change of attitude has to be brought about. Local government institutions of the concerned areas have to be enlightened in this regard, and cleanliness of these areas is the responsibility of the public.
Now, an increase has been observed in the arrival of tourists to Sri Lanka these days, and most of them are engaged in water sports. A large number of foreign tourists are arriving these days for water sports and paramotoring at the Benthara tourist zone in Alutgama. According to our correspondent, tourists from Europe and the Middle East, along with visitors from India and Pakistan, are participating in these water sports. Now, a certain name comes to your mind the moment you hear the word Gregory Lake in Nuwara.
That name is the former governor of Sri Lanka, Sir William Henry Gregory. One of his descendants is touring Sri Lanka at present.
Sir William Henry Gregory was the governor of this country from 1971 to 1975. He had a special attachment towards Nuwara area and spent most of his tenure in Nuwara. His contributions to the development of Nuwara is enormous, and Gregory Lake has been one of the developments conducted by him. Belinda Hunt, a granddaughter of Governor Gregory, and her husband are touring Nuwara area these days. She has arrived in Sri Lanka in order to enjoy the beauty and splendor of Nuwara area developed by his grandfather. Belinda Hunt also visited the concerned venue to have a taste of Gregory Lake and to visit the current president's house, where Governor Gregory used as his official residence.
My name is Belinda Hunt, and this is my husband, Miles. I am the great-great-granddaughter of Sir William Gregory, who was governor of Ceylon from 1872 to 1877. This is my first trip to Sri Lanka and my first time in Nuwara. And I chose to come here because I wanted to see specifically the area that he really loved, that he spent time in when the weather wasn't suitable for him to be in Colombo or when he wasn't at his other residence in Kandy. So we have been visiting Nuwara and learning all about him and his history and his impact on the area. And it has been so interesting. I had a very special visit yesterday to the President's house, which was bought by Sir William Gregory in the 1870s. When he came to Nuwara, discovered there wasn't actually a house, so he needed to buy one. And he bought one from a man called Mr. Duff, who had worked for the Oriental Bank, and it was called Queen's Cottage, and it's now known as the President's house. And it really appealed to him because it was in such a beautiful setting with woodland behind it and also a separate cottage for his staff.
The President's house was a special honour for us because we know it is not open to the public, and to be able to see some building which represents not only the past but also a link to the ancestry for our family was very special. What was clear is that the building is of huge historical value and is one which is possibly a shame that the public do not get to see maybe more often, because it is a special building. It is beautifully maintained. The gardens are extraordinary. They're beautiful, and its position so close to the centre of Nuwara, but also so quiet and so peaceful. It is a very special place.
And also while he was here, he said that Nuwara needed a lake, and he organised the building of Lake Gregory, which was named for him. And to build Lake Gregory cost £1,200. It was good value.
Belinda Hunt recently participated in the inauguration ceremony of Eagles Viewing Point at Shantipura in Nuwara. She also had a friendly discussion with Minister Vijitha Herath, who was present on this occasion.
Sarasara, the new Sapiri Rural Credit Scheme, has been introduced to fulfill the requirement of the working capital of minor and small-scale farmers who are engaged in farming, short-term crops and gardening, and this program has been implemented by the Department of Rural Development of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka from the year 2020 to date. As per the provisions of the new Central Bank Act passed by the Parliament, the Central Bank of Sri Lanka has not been able to implement such a concessionary loan scheme. Accordingly, the Cabinet of Ministers has approved the proposal presented by President Anurukumar Dissanayake in his capacity as the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development to implement Sarasara, a new Sapiri Rural Credit Scheme, through the Department of Development Finance of the General Treasury as an annual program for the year 2025. The Cabinet of Ministers has approved the proposals presented by Prime Minister Dr. Hani Amarasuriya in her capacity as the Minister of Education, Higher Education and Vocational Education to sign the Memorandums of Understanding between Sri Lankan universities and foreign universities. Health facilities are enhanced in selected hospitals by supplying medical equipment and other equipment under the project to enhance health facilities in selected hospitals with the assistance from the Chinese government. Now, these actions are being taken to construct hospital complexes with miscellaneous special units in 13 hospitals and supply medical equipment and other equipment to them. Under this project, construction work of 8 hospitals has been concluded, and the Cabinet of Ministers approved the proposal furnished by the Minister of Health and Mass Media, Dr. Nalin the Jayatissa, considering the 90% progress of 4 hospitals, but want to extend the project period up to the 31st of December 2025 so that project activities can be completed hastily.
The rehearsals of the 77th Independence Day celebration will commence tomorrow. A special traffic plan will be implemented in Colombo in this regard. DIG Traffic Control and Road Safety Indika Hapagoda mentioned that a discussion was held chaired by the Prime Minister, heads of 3 armed forces and especially the Defence Secretary were enlightened in this aspect. Accordingly, rehearsals are scheduled to be started at 6 a.m. and conducted at 8 a.m., making it possible for school children to attend schools without any disruption. Entry from the Bauda Lokamawata from Torrington Junction to Premakirthi Alvis Mawata will be restricted during the rehearsals. Accordingly, during this period, entrance from the Vijayaram Mawata to Vidya Mawata and entry from RFP Junction to the Ministry of Public Administration will be restricted. Entrance from the RG Senanayak Mawata, Maitland Crescent to Independence Roundabout, from Maitland Crescent towards Independence Roundabout, along the entry from Stanley Vijayasundar Mawata, Foundation Mawata Junction to the Independence Mawata will also be restricted. Entrance of vehicles from the Independence Roundabout towards the Independence Square and entry from the Public Library Roundabout toward the Horton Roundabout will also be restricted. Entry from the Independence Foundation junctions to the Independence Mawata will be temporarily stopped. The police request the public and motorists to avoid Independence Square area in the coming few days.
Now, Saudi Arabia is expected to donate 50 tons of dates to Sri Lanka on breaking of Ramadan Day fast by the Islamic community. Arrangements have been made to distribute the stock of dates amongst 2,741 mosques in 25 districts in the country. An agreement was signed in this regard between Saudi Arabian Ambassador in Sri Lanka, Khalid Humud Al-Qatani, and Minister of Buddhist Sasana, Religious and Cultural Affairs, Hinutama Sunil Sanave, today at the Saudi Embassy.
This generous gift of charity and enhancing cooperation between our 2 friendly countries. Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to strengthen the relation between the 2 friendly countries. The kingdom has shown its goodwill and solidarity through various initiatives such as donating large quantity of high quality dates every year to the distributed to the people of Sri Lanka. I also praise the distinguished bilateral relation between the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the Republic of Sri Lanka, and I wish continuous progress and prosperity to both of our friendly countries.
Representatives of both countries, Khalid Humud Al-Qatani and Minister Hinutama Sunil Sanave, signed the agreement regarding the distribution of dates amongst the mosques in Sri Lanka. Minister Bima Ratnayake, Deputy Speaker Rizvi Sali, Deputy Ministers Munir Mulapar and Arun Hemchandra, and MPs Rishad Badiuddin, Kadir Mastan, including journalists and foreign delegates, were present at this occasion.
Telecommunications Regulatory Commission informs the people to avoid purchasing mobile phones which were not registered with the Commission. Action has been taken to make compulsory the registration of dealers in the communication equipment. The Commission also points out that there is a possibility of reducing the price of mobile phones through the concerned program. Director General of the TRC, retired Air Vice Marshal Bandula Herath, requested the public not to buy mobile phones without the approval of the TRC. There is also a possibility of reduction in the prices of mobile phones in the near future. Director Frequency Shantha Gunananda pointed out that it is extremely important for the traders of the telecommunication equipment to get themselves registered with the TRC. All mobile phones which are currently in the possession can be used in the future without any legal obstacle. In case one imports a mobile phone for personal use or imports through another person, all of them have have to be registered with the TRC. Roaming system is not relevant to the current functioning, but if a SIM card is purchased in Sri Lanka, their IMEI number can be added to the CRC system. In case of IMEI number not being registered with the TRC, an SMS would be forwarded to the customer requesting the person to get it registered with after conducting the company from the which had been purchased.
13 Indian fishermen who were engaged in illegal fishing last night after in Sri Lanka Navy. 2 fishermen who were injured due to the chaotic behavior during their arrest have been admitted to the Jaffna General Hospital. These fishermen have been found last night while entering territorial waters of Sri Lanka off Velvettiture in Jaffna. One of the fishermen had a scuffle with a naval officer while the Indian fishermen were being arrested by Sri Lanka Navy. The official firearm of the naval officer had suddenly triggered and 2 fishermen were injured, having been shot on their feet. The remaining 11 Indian fishermen, the multi-day fishing vessel along with other equipment, have been taken into custody by the Navy. They were taken to Kankasanture harbour this morning and are expected to be handed over to My Lady Fisheries Inspection Officer in Jaffna. Parliamentarian Karunathani Ilandure visited the 2 injured Indian fishermen at the Jaffna Hospital today. More stories after this break. And taking a look at news from overseas, the head of the United Nations has expressed concern about President Donald Trump's decision to pause foreign assistance from the United States.
The United States is known to be one of the largest aid providers. Donald Trump signed an executive order shortly after he was sworn in for a second term on January 20th, ordering all federal government agencies to enact a 90-day pause on foreign development assistance and to review existing programs. While the memo outlines exceptions for Israel and Egypt, while annually receive $3.3 billion and $1.3 billion in foreign military financing, respectively. The Secretary General Antonio Guterres noted with concern the announcement of a pause in U.S. foreign assistance. Furthermore, the Secretary General calls for additional exception to be considered to ensure the continued delivery of critical development and humanitarian activities for the most vulnerable communities around the world.
And in your sports news tonight, the 2-match test series between Sri Lanka and Australia will commence at the Galle International Cricket Stadium tomorrow.
The 2 countries are encountering each other in a test format after July of 2022. The players of the 2 teams preparing for the match participated in the final training session at the Galle Stadium today. Unveiling of the trophy, which will be awarded to the championships, will be conducted with the participation of the captains of the 2 teams. Pathum Nissanka, who was injured during the recent New Zealand tour, will not get an opportunity to play in the test match commencing tomorrow. 33 test matches have been played so far between the countries, and Australia has won 20, and while Sri Lanka has been victorious only in 5. 8 matches ended in draws. The match will commence at 10 a.m. tomorrow. That's it for tonight's English News telecast. Thanks for joining us. Good night.
Good night.